Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where I buy furniture, refinish it, and sell it for a profit. But most importantly, I show you the full process of what I do. So in this episode, we're looking at this $13 end table nightstand that I found at the thrift store. We're going to be painting it. We're going to be using gel stain, which I never used before. And we're going to be adding some hairpin legs down bottom here. The first thing we're going to do is remove this drawer here. So this drawer is actually wood in the front, but we have a laminate square on the top, which is weird, but that's where we are going to be applying gel stain. But let's get sanding. I'm using 120 grit sandpaper. But I realized I should probably tape over the laminate piece so I don't scuff it up too much. So let's throw on some tape, and then I'll use some cardboard just to cover it up. And then we can get back to sanding. To get that perfect edge with the tape, I'm using a utility knife and just cutting it, and it works perfect. Okay, finally we have that taped up so we don't scuff it up with sandpaper or get any paint on it. But now we're gonna sand the entire piece. As you can tell, there is white paint on it. I don't know, whoever owned it tried to paint it. It wasn't done very well, so we're gonna sand it down a nice bit so we can get rid of any bumps and peeling paint. We're gonna use the electric sander as well on the sides. And let's not forget the inside. After sanding everything down, we are going to remove this bottom box here. So this is where we're going to be applying the hairpin legs later on in the video. We don't want to add the hairpin legs yet because we might get paint or gel stain on them, and we want to keep them fresh looking. So just use a screwdriver and remove all the screws. Now, once the screws are removed, I'm using a cat's paw to pry up this bottom box. Just put it under and pop it up. It comes off pretty easily. If you don't have one of these, just use a screwdriver or something to just pop it off, just like that. For the most part, this full piece is solid wood, but the back end and on the back end of this box was just particle board, and it was just falling apart. So good thing we are replacing it with some hairpin legs. So now we're flipping the end table back over. We're going to put some paint cans underneath so we can get under it when we're painting and priming. But first we're going to clean up this project. I'm going to use my vacuum, and then I'm going to use a damp rag just to clean up any dust. I'm using Rust-Oleum flat white spray-on primer. So just grab your can, and we're going to throw a light coat on over this piece. You really want to make sure you get a nice layer of primer on the bare wood areas, just because that's where we will likely see bleeds in the paint most. We're all primed and ready for paint. Here's the paint I'm using. It's a Behr paint from Home Depot. I got it on the discount shelf for $1, guys. It's a pretty good deal. This is the color we're going with. So I'm just using a regular synthetic paintbrush, and we're going to throw some paint on this piece. For painting with a brush, my #1 tip I can give you is do not apply a lot of paint at once. Go thinner, because if you go thick, you likely risk the chances that you're going to have drips in your paint, and that can get pretty annoying. So go thin and do multiple coats. After I let the first coat dry, I grabbed a 220 grit sanding sponge and just lightly sanded the first coat before applying the second. And wipe up any dust. Then throw on your second coat, but we're not going to watch the full process, so I'll just skip over that. After letting the second and our final coat of paint dry, I'm going to peel off that top tape and remove the cardboard, and we're going to get down to the laminate that is there. Alright, now the tape is off. Let's flip this end table over so we can throw on these hairpin legs. And let's dust off the cobwebs before we get started. Here are the hairpin legs I ordered on Amazon. These are 6 inches long. If you want to pick up these exact ones, I'll put the Amazon link in the description, but friendly reminder, they are Amazon affiliate links, so I do get a small commission if you guys purchase through those links. Anyways, here's what comes with the package. You get your 4 legs, a bunch of screws, and these little pads that go on the bottom of the hairpin leg so they don't damage your floor. I'm screwing the hairpin legs in with just a screwdriver. You can use a drill, it would probably be easier, but just wanted to show you that you can use a screwdriver. And in this clip I just wanted to show you my colorful knee pads. Hope you like them. Finally, after getting the hairpin legs installed, I'm taking these little protectors, apply a bit of pressure, and just snap them on the bottom of the legs. Now, after the hairpin legs are finished, we are going to get started on gel staining this laminate top and also the front face of the drawer. But first I wanted to apply some tape around the edges here just so we don't get any on that nice paint. There is some sticky residue on the back corner here on the laminate top, so I just used some Goo Gone, sprayed it, and then rubbed it with a rag. Then I cleaned everything up with some water and another rag. Here's the gel stain I'm using. It's Behr and the color is Espresso. I'm using a cheap foam brush to apply this gel stain, and first I'm just dabbing it directly in the can and putting globs throughout the surface. Then you can begin brushing it over the entire surface. Now I grabbed a clean rag and I'm just going to begin wiping the gel stain in the same pattern that the laminate's wood grain goes. So we're going to give this a natural, well, as good as possible, we can give this a natural wooden look. So just wipe the top until you get the look you're looking for. And we're doing the same thing to the drawer. The drawer is actually wood, not laminate, so I don't know if that makes much of a difference, but we'll find out. And we're going to throw it all over the drawer's front face, the top, the sides, the bottom, and then we're going to wipe it off with a rag again, just like we did to the top. First of all, the color I really like, but I don't know if I'm a fan of gel stain. I waited over 24 hours and the stuff was still pretty tacky. It might be the temperature in the garage, it could be the humidity, but even if you just touched it, it would smudge and it was tacky on your finger. So what I'm gonna do is spray some lacquer over the gel stain areas on the drawer and on the top here, and I'm hoping that'll dry it up to touch. Here's the Watco lacquer I'm using. It's a semi-gloss finish and it takes 30 minutes to dry, so let's throw this on. After letting the lacquer dry, I came back. It was dry to touch on top, but the edges were still kind of tacky where the lacquer didn't really sit well, I guess. So I'm going to apply polycrylic. It's not recommended to put over lacquer, but I think it'll do the trick. It'll fill in the cracks where the laminate meets the wood, and that's where the gel stain is still pretty tacky, and that should do the trick. Alright, I'm applying polycrylic to the drawer as well where I gel stained, and I do my 3 coats and let that all dry. I did notice a difference with the gel stain on the wood and the laminate, so I don't think it's designed for laminate, so that's why it was getting pretty tacky, but on the wood it worked pretty well. But anyways, let's take a look at this end table one more time before we started on it. And now let's take a look at this end table after we refinished it. And the gel stain area turned out pretty good. I guess time will tell if it is durable or not on that laminate surface. But hope you guys liked this hairpin lag furniture makeover. And if you want to see more furniture flips, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, everyone.